Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club. Did I catch you off guard?
No.
I'm Mike.
We weren't talking about anything weird.
That's how every episode of this show starts.
That's not true. Sometimes we're talking about something great.
Yeah, like you.
No!
I tricked you.
Burn the note. Burning your body and your house. Your dying message is gone for good.
I'm Mike.
I'm not.
And this is the show where we talk about TV shows about video games, in case you're just coming in for the first time right now, on episode 119.
They gotta jump on at some point, you know?
I know.
If we're gonna be this persistent...
This is our first look at a Tales of game, so...
That's gonna be wild, because if you're anything like me, you don't know a ding-dang thing about a tale.
So we are this week looking at Tales of Zestiria, Dawn of the Shepherd. We usually would play the theme song here, but there's no theme song for this, so we're not going to do that. What do you have any experience with the Tales of series?
My experience with the Tales of series is constantly seeing titles from the Tales of series pop up on Steam. I'm like, what the heck is this? Why are there so many?
I have Tales of Symphonia for the GameCube. I have never finished it, but I really loved it. It was really good. I don't know why I stopped playing it. Probably something else came out that distracted me. From my memory of it, I was going through like elemental temples, and I think I got to a temple that was themed around darkness. If that means anything to anyone listening. But Tales of Symphonia, I'm pretty sure, is the most popular game in the series. It's the one that gets referenced in Smash Brothers. The main character from Tales of Symphonia his outfit is available for your Mii fighter in Smash Brothers.
So what is the deal with the Tales of series? Is it like Final Fantasy, where none of them are really connected, but they have connecting elements?
I believe so. Having only played Tales of Symphonia, I can't say that for certain. I think certain ones are like prequels or sequels to each other. Like, I know the one that came out after this one was a prequel to it. But I think in general they take place in different worlds. And this one, Tales of Zestiria, was released in 2015 for the PS3. It's by Bandai Namco, as all of the games in the series are. And this was the 15th game in the series.
Wow.
And it was released for the 20th anniversary. So it's been going for a while.
Yeah.
No, not only this was the 15th game in the series, it was released for the 20th anniversary, and it's 10 years old this year.
So that's this is an anniversary.
Yes, this is another anniversary episode for us.
Wow.
Happy anniversary, Tales of Zestiria.
You're older than I ever would have imagined.
Also, if Tales of Zestiria is 10 years old, and it was the 20th anniversary game of the franchise, that also means the franchise itself is 30 years old.
Crazy.
And the first game in the series does have an anime too, but it didn't come out until December, so we'll be looking at that then. If this show's still going in December. Huh.
I mean, I told you, Spike Chunsoft is about to turn 40. That's
I know.
Disgusting.
I know. Some of the numbers that we're coming across for these anniversary episodes make me want to puke.
Puke so hard I jet backwards into time.
Projectile vomit, but I'm the projectile.
The vomit is stationary. It just powers me through time.
Yeah, the vomit doesn't move from where I began puking, but I fire off into the air. So do you know anything about the gameplay of Tales of?
I imagine it's a JRPG.
Somewhat, and somewhat not. So I know of it from Tales of Symphonia. I had to check whether it was still basically the same in Zestiria, and it pretty much is. It looks like Zestiria is on a 3D plane, where Symphonia was on a 2D one, as far as I remember. I always thought Tales of Symphonia felt like Smash Brothers RPG. Because when you get into a battle, you just control whoever is the leading party member right now. You control them, and you can like jump around and stuff, and you press the buttons to do your different moves instead of selecting them from a menu. The other characters will all be controlled by the computer, or if you have extra controllers plugged in, they can be controlled by other players.
Wow, little brother mode.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really interesting, but I think the fact that it's only multiplayer during battle means that it's not a great multiplayer game.
No, it's not.
But, you know, it like you said, it's very little brother mode. You can have someone sitting next to you just enjoying the story, and then they jump in whenever a fight starts. That's kind of fun.
It just reminds me of back in the olden days when we were all still living at home and my oldest brother got grounded once and he made me play Final Fantasy IX for him. I had no idea what the story was. I was just doing the battles for him so he could watch and progress the story.
Well, he wasn't allowed to play, but he was allowed to watch you play.
Yeah.
That's adorable. How was it?
I don't know.
Did you finish it?
No, he was on like disc 3 or something. I didn't know what I was doing.
I've never made it that far into... You said it was 9, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 9 is one of my favorites stylistically, but I don't think I've ever made it more than like halfway through, maybe. I should. I think I own it. Every game in the Tales series has what they call a characteristic genre, which... I mean, they're all just RPG, but they all have an extra little tagline that's supposed to tell you something about, like, the themes or the plot of the game.
Okay.
So this one is the Passion That Illuminates the World RPG.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit
That
weird.
doesn't tell me anything. I'm more confused now than when I started.
I think it's one of those things where, like, if you finish the game and you look back at that, you'll be like, oh yeah, I see how that was passion that illuminates the world. The game, because it was the 20th anniversary game, it was designed to combine classic series elements with new gameplay ideas. It was a little bit hard for me to pass reading this, like, several paragraph description of the gameplay without having played it myself. But what I gathered was that the main new gameplay innovation in this one is that some characters can merge with each other.
Okay.
Which is interesting. The story theme of this one is characters pursuing their passions, along with the general series theme of coexistence, which is a common theme across the franchise. And it was produced by Hideo Baba, who joined Namco in 2001 and directed Tales of Destiny. Then he went on to become the brand manager of the Tales series from 2007 to 2015. So this was the last one that he worked on. And then he moved to Square Enix to work on Project Prelude Rune, which was cancelled.
Yeah, that name doesn't ring a single bell.
And then after it was cancelled, he left Square Enix, and I'm not sure where he is now. Doesn't look like he's there. I couldn't see any news about him post 2019. So
I bet wherever he is, he's pursuing his passions.
I hope so. It sounded like he was pretty cool. It sounded like he was very invested in making the game as good as it could be, regardless of what the company thought like they should do money-wise.
Right.
So, Tales of Zestiria, Dawn of the Shepherd, is an anime made to promote the game. First broadcast on December 30th, 2014 on Tokyo MX and the Kyoto Broadcasting System. And then it was broadcast a bunch more times on various other channels throughout January, up until the game's release at the end of January.
Did people like it?
I'm not sure. I couldn't find too much of people's opinions about the anime. In fact, like, the anime itself doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. There's not a lot of information about it out there. I also couldn't find a full English cast list for it.
Not a great sign.
No, but also it does seem like it wasn't particularly easy to come across for English audiences.
Okay.
And there's also an actual Tales of Zestiria series that came after this. which is a lot better documented than this short film was. It was animated by Ufotable, who are known for Demon Slayer. They did most of the Fate Stay Night stuff, possibly all of the Fate Stay Night stuff, a lot of God Eater stuff. They pretty frequently partner with Bandai Namco.
Is this a standalone short film?
This is a standalone short film, yeah, that was basically made
to
advertise the game. And this is a pretty straight adaptation of the beginning of the game.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the best way to do it, to just do the beginning of the game.
Right.
I feel like it would make more sense to do something that was like a prequel to the beginning of the game, to like...
Remember when we watched Star Fox?
I do. What about it?
I mean, that was a commercial for the game, but it wasn't just the beginning of the game.
That's true. Yeah. Was it partly the beginning of the game?
I think it led into the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I feel like... Did it include the battle? No, I don't think it did. I was trying to remember if it actually included the boss battle on Corneria from the game or not.
I don't think so. I think that's where it stopped.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then over the credits, didn't it just straight up show footage of the game being played?
That sounds like something that happened.
I think that was what it was, yeah. Yeah, something like that I think is a better promotional short film for the game. Apparently Bandai Namco were opposed to creating this initially because of the high cost of including it as a Blu-ray disc with the game's release. But Hideo Baba pushed for it to happen anyway as part of the 20th anniversary celebration.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like in Japan, this short film is actually included on the game disc, but everywhere else in the world, it was only available as a pack-in Blu-ray with the collector's edition of the game.
Gotcha.
And so I think that's the only way you could have seen it outside of Japan, is if you bought the collector's edition. Or, if you found it online like we did.
No, I bought the collector's edition.
Oh, me too. Yeah. We both did that.
I haven't played the game yet, but I watched this.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to watch this first.
Clearly.
And then replay the events of this in the game.
No, I can just keep slapping A and get through the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I know what happened.
Exactly. So we open with some narration explaining the legend of the shepherd. I know, as a Zelda fan, I should be used to openings like this, but I don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't like to just get some dry narration of a legend.
It is a little dull. I would rather they weave it into the narrative.
Me too, yeah. Wind Waker opens like this, and Wind Waker probably is my favorite Zelda game. It's top 3 for sure. But I'm not a fan of this type of opening. It's explained to us that when the world becomes enveloped in darkness, the shepherd will appear and bring the light, and then vanish once peace has returned.
Yeah, Link will wake up and battle Ganon.
I was thinking that as we watched it. Yeah, it is basically The Legend of Zelda. That's probably why I had that in my mind just then as well. Yeah, it's just the hero, the legend of the hero from any Zelda game.
Yeah.
Over time, people forgot about the shepherd, but the world is about to be threatened by darkness once again.
The world done been threatened by darkness. He just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, right? Aren't we told that it's been a few decades that shit's been going down?
But because he's living in an isolated fairy town, he doesn't know about any of that.
Oh, that's the whole thing. Well, he apparently, according to the wiki, he's only 17, so it's been going on for twice as long as he's been alive, even. The first thing we get is this big sweeping 3D shot of this cliffside temple, and it looks pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah.
And then we see our main character, Sorey, abseiling into it. Sorey is played by Ryohei Kimura, who got his start as Belmont in Medabots.
Oh.
Remember Medabots?
I do. That was a funny show.
Yeah, I enjoyed that show. He's also Kotaro in Haikyuu. He plays Daryl Lorenz in Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. He's Lord Enma in Yokai Watch.
Oh no.
He played Joshua in The World Ends With You, and he reprised that role in Kingdom Hearts as well.
I've always meant to play The World Ends With You.
Yeah, we talked about it a while back, didn't we? I want to play it too.
Because I think about that game a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Kingdom Hearts with a more cohesive story.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts, but easier to swallow.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that characters from it appeared in Kingdom Hearts as well.
Yeah, I know they were in Dream Drop Distance.
That's where this was, yeah. He also played Sharon in the animated trailer for Pokemon Black and White 2.
Just the trailer?
Just the trailer.
Cool.
He was Wonder Red in Wonderful 101. That's the main character, so that's a big role. He played Kaito in Danganronpa.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the voice of Bumblebee in the Transformers franchise. So that's a lot of stuff.
That is a lot of stuff.
In English, Sorey is played by Robbie Daymond, who we've talked about before, because he played Rudy Toots in Costume Quest.
Rudy Toots!
Yeah, and also since we watched Costume Quest, I've encountered him again because he played Mephiles in Shadow Generations.
Ugh. It's always the Sonic Hedgehog.
And, he did a good job, but I thought he was a little bit miscast. I didn't think his voice was deep enough. But he was competing with the original voice, which was Dan Green, so... It's hard to compete with Dan Green.
Yeah.
He's a good voice guy.
I feel like that's how a lot of people felt about Gundam Tanaka from Danganronpa 2.
Oh, yeah?
His original voice actor has this really deep, great voice, and then he was recast in the anime dub, and it... nowhere near it.
Yeah. It was also a bit of a problem with Mephiles because I felt like his Mephiles voice was a little bit too close to Shadow's voice. So there were times where I was like, wait, who's talking right now?
I mean, they're basically the same thing anyway.
Well, yeah, Mephiles is... Mephiles is a demon who has assumed Shadow's form, so... Naturally, he's just a big old cloud of darkness. But that doesn't make for good action figures.
You don't know until you try.
No, yeah, that's true.
Just sell a dark fart cloud.
Sorey's looking at this big mural, and he pulls out an old book which has a drawing of the mural in it. And he's real excited that he's found the shepherd's mural. And then there's a statue nearby that's wearing one glove.
Just one.
And it has the shepherd's symbol on it. It looks brand new, by the way.
It looks like Mikleo just put it there.
Yeah, Mikleo, who appears here and snatches the glove from him. Mikleo is played by Ryota Osaka, who we've talked about before, because he played Cheval in Monster Hunter Stories Ride On.
Oh, yeah.
And in English, he's played by Michael Johnston, who is apparently best known as Corey Bryant in MTV's Teen Wolf.
Okay.
He also played Ephema in Kingdom Hearts. That's a character from the third one, which I haven't played yet.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
And he was the male player character in Blackout Club, apparently. Apparently.
We need to go back to that game.
Yeah, I remember we were enjoying it. I don't remember why we stopped. Was it just because your computer couldn't handle it at the time?
My computer was having a really rough time, and it was getting me all frustrated and upset.
That's right, yeah. It was a good game, though.
Yeah, we can go back.
So, Sorey and Mikleo are friends and rivals, I guess. Also, kind of brothers. Seems like they were raised together.
Yeah.
I was assuming at this point that they were archaeologists, because it sure seems like it.
No, they do too much adventuring to be archaeologists.
But they're all, discussing the legitimacy of the mural and whether it's really from the Asgard era, and I'm like, okay, nerds.
Yeah, but it's just the nerdy mage one that brings that up.
That's true.
The less nerdy warrior guy's just like, whoa, it's a mural!
Well, I think that they are optimistic archaeologist and pessimistic archaeologist here.
Yeah, you have to have your foil in your dynamic duo.
Yeah, like us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Suddenly it gets dark and stormy, and the ruins just kind of get enveloped in some clearly not naturally occurring lightning.
The ruins is the lightning.
Yeah, it's all over everything. I'm not sure what happened, because Mikleo calls Sorey to escape, but Sorey seems to like get distracted by something.
The natural beauty.
There's lightning all around me, but I just want to look at this for a second.
I mean, if lightning is striking like that, I feel like I would be a little distracted too, because it would look really cool.
It does look pretty cool.
I think he just kind of reminisces on shepherds for a little bit.
It seemed like he heard something. But, like, I feel like you hear a little... It sounded like someone was singing or something, maybe. But if that was what it was, it never comes up again in this, so... I don't know. Maybe it comes up again in the game.
Who knows?
So, they run as the ruins are being destroyed around them. Sorey saves Mikleo's life from falling in a hole, but then they fall in the hole anyway, so...
Yeah. And then Mikleo saves Sorey's life.
Yeah, with water magic. This is where we find out he's a magic guy.
It all makes sense. Look at that nerd in his magely garb.
I feel like... Okay, listen, I don't really have enough experience with this series to say for sure, but in Tales of Symphonia, you also start the game with like a sword fighter guy and a magic guy. So I don't know if that's just normal for this series.
I feel like that's normal for anything that has like a kind of class system.
That's true. In Tales of Symphonia, it's you and your like kid best friend whose name is Genus, and he's the magic guy. And then his older sister, who's better at magic, joins you later on.
Wow, way to make your little brother redundant.
I want to play that. I'm gonna finish that game. I think I have it on Steam now. It was good.
Okay, you didn't even finish it, so how good could it have been?
I still remember a lot of the story though, which tells me that I loved it. I just didn't get to the end. Probably because Paper Mario 2 came out or something, I don't know. They're deep inside the ruins now, which Sorey is pretty happy about, but there's like a floor down below them, and they see an unconscious human lying on the floor down there.
Yeah, this is where they start using the word human a lot, and I'm like, I think something's going on.
Yeah, when Mikleo says that they shouldn't get involved with humans, I was like, humans? What do you mean?
I have a sneaking suspicion one of you is probably a human.
Why do you think that?
Oh, no reason.
I mean, this was the first part where I was like, wait, someone in this show isn't a human?
Exactly.
Sorey convinces him to go and try to help her. So they go to look for a way around to where she is. And they fight a spider!
Yeah, really big spider!
The spider is apparently a humor. They're called Hellions in the English version. And they say that Gramps warned them about these. They're monsters that are created when something is overcome with malevolence. I read that on the wiki.
I've created a few of those myself.
Yeah, apparently it can be animals, people, or objects.
Objects?
Yeah. If anything...
I want to know more about some evil objects.
Yeah. Evil doll. Evil lamp.
Evil potted plant.
And we get a flashback to Gramps, who told them that only the chosen ones have the power to defeat a Hellion, so if they encounter one, they should just run.
Yeah. Takes a while for that flashback to kick in, though, so we see some spider fight.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of spider fight. Gramps, who is apparently called Zenrus, we never actually hear him called by that name, though. He's played by Ichiro Nagai, who apparently died before this came out, which is sad.
Aww.
But he was quite old. He lived a long life and did a lot of things. He appeared in the 60s, 80s, and 2000s Astro Boy anime. He was in all of them.
Ooh.
He played Karin-sama and Suru Senin in Dragon Ball. He played Dr. Nanba in Pokemon, which is one I'm familiar with. Dr. Nanba was like Team Rocket's Professor Oak.
Oh.
I think he only shows up from... Oh, maybe he showed up in the Gold and Silver anime at some point, but I mostly remember him being around during like Gen 3 and 4 stuff. He also played Haposai in Rambo 1/2, and he did a lot of Japanese dubbing stuff. He was the Japanese voice of Dumbledore. He was Phil in Hercules and Kingdom Hearts.
Cool.
Slinky Dog in Toy Story.
Slinky Dog.
Yep. And he was Yoda in Star Wars.
I love that for him.
So that's a lot of like very well-known characters. Iconic characters, you might say.
You might, but I won't.
This is the first character where I could not find out who played him in English. No idea. If anybody knows, let us know. There's 3 characters, I think, that I couldn't find the English voices for. Maybe 2, I can't remember. I went to look up who played him in the game, because this cast is pretty much entirely shared with the game's cast.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't find anything for that either. I don't know, maybe he's not credited in the game either.
That's rude.
I could only find out who played him in the later TV series, but it seems like the TV series had a new cast that aren't shared with the game cast or this cast. So anyway, back in the present, Sorey and Mikleo decide to jump off a cliff.
To their death. The end.
They jump into a pit and Sorey grabs Mikleo and hangs onto the edge of the pit. And the spider just kind of jumps in the pit after them. And like
he uses his grappling hook.
Yeah.
He doesn't just grab the end of it.
All right, sorry. I should have been more specific.
They do plummet for a little while.
I should have been more specific. Yeah, it's the same way he abseiled into the ruin earlier. The spider bumps off an invisible bridge down below as it falls.
What wacky technology these shepherds and their people had.
I know. When I first watched it, I thought that Mikleo used water ice magic to create a bridge below them because
No.
I didn't notice the spider bouncing off it like that.
Yeah, because you would have been the Sorey in this recreation.
Well, I don't know, because he congratulates Sorey for noticing the invisible bridge. But
So you're the only one that didn't notice.
But I didn't get the impression that Sorey noticed it. And if Sorey noticed it, why did Mikleo have to freeze it?
So that it would become visible.
I feel like that would just make it become slippery.
Good, you can slip and slide faster down there. You can curl Mikleo to the end.
Mikleo and the dead skunk.
Yeah.
We talk about curling
and then
a lot.
they both do their Aurora jump.
Prism jump.
Oh, pardon me.
Aurora was a kind of prism jump. Aurora something. I don't remember.
I didn't realize how big of a fan you'd become in the 2 weeks it's been since we recorded that.
Yeah, you don't realize how many prism stones I've bought since then. I got like 50
Are you actually
now.
recording this from the prism dimension? Are you in red glasses in there?
Yeah. I'm wearing the full fresh pink outfit. So they reach the human, and Mikleo tells Sorey that they should reconsider helping her, but Sorey wakes her up. And she's confused, and she's searching frantically for her weapon, and Sorey just hands it to her. This guy's gonna get stabbed at some point.
Why? Because he was friendly to one human?
No, but if he treats everyone like this, eventually someone's gonna...
We don't know that he treats everyone like this. He treated one downed maiden like this.
I think it's implied that he treats everyone like this, especially with something Gramps says about him later on.
Especially since he's a naive 17-year-old boy that's lived in a small village of trusting individuals.
Yeah, lived a sheltered life. This is the first human he's ever met, we're told later, so... But Mikleo gets in between them and shouts at her and gets no reaction, which confirms to him that she's a human.
We don't know why yet.
We don't know why.
It takes a couple minutes for us to understand why he just screamed at her.
Sorey introduces himself. She doesn't introduce back. And Miklio's like feeding him questions to ask. I don't know about you. I pieced together before they told us that she couldn't see Miklio.
I wasn't paying that much attention.
Oh, okay.
I think I had just realized how long this episode was, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I was surprised that you didn't yell at me before we recorded.
I would have, but I was like, did he mention at some point and I just forgot?
I did not.
You bastard!
I would have told you if I didn't want you to watch all of it. I know that's no consolation.
No, I was preparing for that. I was like, am I supposed to watch this whole thing?
Yeah. Well, that's why with the other one where there were 2 episodes in it, it was Battle Arena Toshinden, right?
Yeah.
I messaged you beforehand and I was like, don't watch the whole thing, just watch till the credits happen. Because I didn't want to put you through that week.
Yeah, you were saving it for this week.
Hey, at least it wasn't a movie.
I mean, it wasn't too far off in length.
It was like 45 minutes off movie length.
No.
Yeah, a movie's like an hour and a half at least.
Sometimes they're an hour and 15. And you know what? I think we should go back to that era.
I think 90 minutes is long enough for a movie, personally.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's still twice the length of anything else we watch.
That's not true. What about The Last of Us?
That's an outlier.
And Fallout.
Also an outlier.
Okay.
The median time of an episode we watch is like 25.
That's true, yeah. Sometimes I give you one that's only 15.
Yeah.
Those are treats, though. You haven't earned a treat yet lately.
Well, fine.
Anyway, she asks where she is. Sorey tells her she's somewhere near the outskirts of Izuchi. I think that's called something completely different in English, but to be honest, the Tales wiki is terrible. You hear me, Tales fans? Update your wiki. I couldn't even find a list of enemies on there.
I feel like, I don't know, some wikis just don't get cared for.
Yeah.
The fans are out there. The information is out there. They just don't compile it in a wiki because fan wikis are terrible.
Yeah, but they're also useful sometimes. This one's not so useful. And I know, listen, I'm putting out the call. Tales fans, get your house in order.
We need the obsessive length and determination of a Sonic wiki.
I need like a list of enemies. At least a list of enemies for each game, right? I feel like that's not a lot to expect.
That's a lot of games. This is the 15th one.
Yeah, but there's probably more than 15 fans.
I doubt that.
Okay, locations. Locations of Glenwood. That's the name of the world, I guess.
Was it not in the dub?
Alisha.
Okay.
It's called, I think.
That's just a lady's name.
Yeah. So she asks him if there's a place that she can rest nearby before she returns to the capital. Because she's a knight, by the way.
We don't know that yet.
No, we don't even know her name yet. Sorey invites her to his place, which upsets Miklio, who points out that she didn't give her name.
Sorey does a lot of talking to himself.
Yeah, I love how for most of this, she probably just thinks he's nuts.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear that she thinks that there's something wrong with him. Probably because he's been living in isolation for so long.
Right. She goes to the house of a man who is talking to himself and who introduces a family that doesn't exist. She's just like, well, alright. It's not my worst Tinder date.
Yeah. Yeah, Sorey says she probably has her reasons for not sharing her name and that she seems like a good person, which she obviously hears, even though she doesn't know who he's talking to. And she thanks him for saying it. She doesn't tell us her name until the very end, but I'm going to tell you her name right now.
No!
It's Alisha.
Spoiled sport.
What was do you remember her last name?
Something weird.
Alisha Difda, apparently.
Yeah.
She's played by Ai Kayano, who played Ryoko in Food Wars, Alice in Sword Art Online, Mikan in Danganronpa, Yomi in Senran Kagura, Ophelia in Octopath Traveler, and she's Erika in Pokemon Masters. Only Pokemon Masters, though.
Cool.
They didn't really use any of the anime voices in Pokemon Masters. I think they wanted to make it clear that the game universe and the anime universe is separate.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure the only characters in Masters who share their anime voices are Ash, Jesse, and James, who all explicitly come from the anime universe. So in English, she's played by Alexis Tipton, who is an ADR director.
Oh.
But she also played Pearl in the Ace Attorney anime.
Oh.
She played Komaru in Danganronpa.
I can't remember which one that is. There's too many names.
I know, I have trouble too. I didn't want to look up Komaru in case it was a spoiler because she had a familiar last name, and I was like, is that the...
Wait, I think I might know who that is.
Is that a sibling of someone? And I didn't want to know.
Oh, yeah. You don't want me to say anything about it?
No, you can if you don't think it's a big spoiler.
Yeah, she's Makoto's sister.
Okay, that's what
she's mostly in Ultra Despair Girls.
Right. I kind of made that assumption because I saw the last name and I was like, wasn't that Makoto's last name? Is that his sister? As far as I remember, her fate was left up in the air in the last one I played, so...
Well, I did just tell you that she's in Ultra Despair Girls. She's the protagonist of Ultra Despair Girls.
Is Ultra Despair Girls the one that's, like, not canon?
It's like a third-person shooter.
Oh, okay.
I think it is canon. I don't remember.
Okay.
I never played it. I heard it wasn't great.
Well, anyway, she also played Lucina in Fire Emblem. One of the few Fire Emblem characters that I know who that is. Because she's in Smash Brothers too.
I think it is canon.
Okay. What's the one I'm thinking of? The one where it's like a beach Mario Party.
Oh, yeah, that's not canon.
Right. That's the one I thought Ultra Despair Girls was.
No, that's called, like, Funtime Beach Party episode.
Okay. And Alexis Tipton also plays Young Trunks in Dragon Ball, which means she also plays half of Gotenks.
Ooh.
There's a lot of controversy around Alisha, the character.
Okay.
Among fans, because she's advertised as the game's main heroine, and I definitely got the impression that she's the game's main heroine from what we watched here. But apparently she leaves the party quite early in the game and doesn't return.
Oh.
And that caused quite a lot of controversy at release, because they sold DLC outfits for her.
Oh, okay.
Also, apparently the game stores continue stocking like higher level weapons for her long after she leaves the party.
Why?
Yeah, it's a bit strange. So some people think that maybe she was supposed to return at some point, but was cut for some reason. There is a DLC chapter about her, though.
Do you remember in Kingdom Hearts 2 when you spend an hour playing as Roxas and then you never play as him again?
Yes.
I hated that.
Why did you hate it, though? Did you hate it because you missed Roxas?
I liked Roxas as a character, yes, but also, like, it completely builds up this world and this story that ceases to exist immediately after.
Yeah, I hated it because it's basically like an hour-long tutorial, and I don't like tutorials at the best of times.
True, and you literally can't escape unless you go through all of the steps and do the stupid fighting tournament.
Yeah. And I was like, I've just come off the first game. I don't need this tutorial. I played the first game.
I thought it started off as like a fun little mystery where all these weird things are happening and you're trying to solve it. But then the second you do, you're punished for it by becoming Sora.
Do you like Roxas more than Sora?
I do like Roxas more than Sora.
Okay.
I like his little bromance with Axel. I thought they're cute.
I don't hate Roxas, but I think I like Sora more. Sora's like the goofy, too happy guy. And I like that.
I don't like Too Happy.
I know a lot of people who really hate Sora.
I don't hate him, but he's just too shonen protagonist for me.
Yeah, I love a shonen protagonist, but he is very shonen protagonist. I think at the time, because, you know, Kingdom Hearts, when it came out, was mostly selling to Disney fans.
Yeah.
And I think to a lot of Disney fans, Shonen Protagonist was a brand new experience when they got into Kingdom Hearts. Not for me.
What is this trope I'll never tire of?
Yeah, I already had Pokemon for a long time, so I was very familiar with shonen protagonists already. Anyway, so yeah, this is where we're straight up told that Alisha can't see Mikleo. Mikleo is a seraphim, which are a race of people who are invisible to humans, and Sorey is a human raised by seraphs, or seraphim, or whatever you want to say.
Them. Angle people.
Angle people. It reminds me of the first Sonic fan game I ever played, where the first stage was called Angle Island. So they leave the ruins, and Alisha comments that this place looks like where the Seraphim are said to live, and the two of them bond over their fascination with the myths and the fact that they've both read this ancient book that Sorey carries around.
Nerd book.
As they get near the village, Alisha bumps into some kind of magical barrier type thing. She has to force her way through it.
They didn't talk too much about it, but it's obviously one of the village's defenses to let them know when someone is intruding on their land.
Oh, do you think that was that's how they pick up on the Hellion that comes in later?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, the second they cross through, the entire village is at the gate.
That's true. I didn't think about that, but you're probably right. Because I was just thinking it was, a barrier, and I was like, it's not a very good barrier if she just has to walk a little bit harder to get through. So Mikleo goes to talk to Gramps about what's happened, and all the people are gathered around staring. And Sorey gathers them all up to introduce them to Alisha. And we can see that he's surrounded by nervous people, but to her, he just looks like a crazy person who's lost his mind from living alone.
She appears quite nervous.
Yeah, but she kind of laughs it off. She plays along. It's like he points to his house, but she wants to look around the village, and he's like, "That's okay as long as you don't make anybody angry." And she's like, I promise I'll be nice to everyone, even though she clearly doesn't believe there's anyone there.
Right.
At Gramps' house, Sorey gets yelled at. I liked how immediately angry Gramps is.
I mean, that's what a village elder is there to do.
Yeah.
To yell at the youths.
Yeah, just like in Monster Hunter stories.
Yeah.
Sorey's broken the rules by bringing a human to the village. But Sorey says he couldn't just leave her alone and unconscious in the ruins.
I mean, you could.
You could. Gramps says that humans only bring disaster, and Sorey's like, I'm a human.
I've been here for 17 years.
Yeah, and you brought this girl.
Everything got worse when you showed up.
Gramps said that Sorey's different because Sorey lived with them and learned to see them. That really makes me wonder, when he first got here as a baby, was he just, alone for a while because he couldn't see anyone?
That is the implication. Maybe they would just, make him food and leave it there, and he'd be like, oh, wow, a honey-baked ham. It's incredible, I found this in nature.
Whoa, I foraged a sandwich.
The sandwich trees are in full bloom today.
Mikleo points out this is the first human, or the first other human that Sorey has ever met. So he's kind of having a Tarzan meeting Jane experience. Why didn't you tell me there were others who looked like me?
Everyone looks like you. Just some of them are invisible.
All of the Seraphim people have brightly colored hair, I feel like.
True.
But that seems to be the only physical difference. And they just look like anime people.
Yeah.
As he leaves Gramps' house, there's some people in the distance waving to him, and then they point him to where Alisha is. I thought that was cute.
She fell asleep again. Come take care of her.
She's over here. Yeah, she's taking a nap against a rock. Because she's bored. And she doesn't know there's people standing around staring at her.
I guess.
When they go back to his house, he serves her a home-cooked meal. And I half expected the meal to be invisible to her.
That would be funny.
Thought it was
That
gonna
would be some hook nonsense.
Yeah, that's exactly what I had in mind. Because we see the food, and then we just have this shot of her staring at it with like a kind of bemused expression. And I was like, she can't see it. It's invisible food.
Turns out she just doesn't think he can cook, which is a rude assumption.
Yeah. Some gender normative sexist stuff.
Yeah, like the meal looks good.
It does
I don't
look
know why
good.
she would be like, no.
I'm hungry now. He asks her about her home, and she says she's from Lady Lake, the capital of the Highland Kingdom, and he recognizes the name from the legend of the Sacred Sword. So I guess that's where the sacred hero, what was it? The shepherd. That's where the shepherd got his sword from in the legends.
Yeah, because the Lady of the Lake brought Excalibur to King Arthur.
And that's why we call it Lady Lake, because there's a lady in it. Alisha says that her home used to be a beautiful place where everybody liked to drink and stuff. I don't know why she singles out drinking as a pastime.
That's the world's pastime.
Yeah, she uses the past tense when she's talking about how beautiful her home was, though. So Sorey's like, why are you using the past tense? And it's clear that something is wrong in this world.
Yeah.
And Sorey says, Sorey comments on how life is hard outside too. And she's like, what do you mean outside? He means outside of this town, where I've spent my entire life.
The real world, Sorey.
He's never left this place. And she assumes that means that he's been living alone forever, and that's probably why he's nuts.
Cuckoo bananas out of his mind.
So she goes to bed, and Sorey goes outside to talk to Mikleo, who wants him to press her for info, but Sorey wants to just let her be.
Yeah, she's gone to sleep, Mikleo. Give it a rest.
Mikleo has a message from Gramps. The girl should be taken out of town as soon as possible, but she shouldn't be scared away in case it attracts malevolence.
In case it attracts bears.
So she needs to be allowed to stay until she's ready to leave, but encouraged to leave at her nearest convenience.
It's a very confused message.
But Sorey's pretty happy with that because it means that he gets to spend some time with her.
Yeah.
And then we get a flashback from Mikleo of Gramps talking to him about it. And he says he worries about Sorey because he's so straightforward and kind. He thinks he's a naive fool he's going to get taken advantage of in the world.
By the stranger they dug up out of the ruins.
So the next day, Sorey takes Alisha hunting.
They kill a pig.
This is a prickle boar. It took me a while, but I managed to find an enemy list from a different game, and these are called prickle boars. So I'm assuming it's the same.
And he's teaching her how to homestead.
Yeah. Teaches her how to cook and stuff. Teaches her how to forage in the woods.
And he's like preparing a leather pouch for her.
It's really cute. Like she's just this naive girl from the city, and he's like, here's how you survive in the wilderness. Here's how to do some things.
You did all this on your own? But she suspects.
You think?
I mean, she says it. She's like, even though you live here alone, it doesn't feel that way.
Oh, I thought she was just saying, like, you make this place feel like a village full of people.
I mean, I guess. I kind of took it to mean like she does faintly sense the seraph.
Maybe. That night, once she's asleep, Mikleo and Sorey talk, this time in the house, which isn't very careful.
She's probably just like, oh, he's rambling to himself again.
No, yeah, because Sorey says he wishes humans and Seraphim could live together, and it wakes her up, but she just assumes he's reading his Legends book aloud. Just like, oh my god. Well, he has been living alone for his entire life. I guess it makes sense that he reads to himself out loud.
I guess. You're that starved for other people, you hear your own voice.
Yeah. They bond a little bit more over the book. But she says that she doesn't have time to travel the world searching for the ruins like she wishes she could, because there have been disasters striking for decades.
Right, because her entire world is crumbling.
Yeah, and she lists off a few things. I'm assuming that in the game, each of these is like a town that you go to. So she mentions the mysterious diseases, everlasting storms, and rumors of the dead walking.
Oh no, Skeleton!
She gets real serious and she says that a war might break out between the countries. And she's resorted to legends looking for a way to stop it. And he's like, is that why you're in the ruins? And she hesitates to answer. And he's just like, you don't need to answer, that's fine. And he just lays down and tries to go to sleep.
Right. Like, why would she hesitate to tell him when clearly he's... Like, he wouldn't think that she was crazy.
Why would she hesitate to tell anything to this lunatic hermit? Like, nobody's going to believe anything he says. He's talking to fictional people all the time. Yeah, no, I think she does make clear later that what she's worried about is that he'll make fun of her, right?
He's literally reading from the same book that you both love.
Yeah, and the difference is that he has an entire family of invisible people.
Not like that loser.
But he senses something outside, and Gramps and Mikleo sense it too, and presumably everyone in the village does.
Yeah. And also Gramps just sends out a message. He posts in the group, like, everybody get outside.
In the group chat. Yeah. Gramps thinks it's probably a Hellion, and he sends everyone out in the village to search for it. So Sorey and Mikleo meet outside, and they hear a scream, and they're like, that's Mason's scream.
Mason?
Yeah, Mason doesn't have any lines, and we don't even see his face. Because he's too busy getting eaten by a Zoroark Gajinka.
Yeah, swallowed whole by this snake fox.
So they fight this fox man, whose name is Lunar, apparently. He's played by Takehito Koyasu, who we talked about last week.
Last week?
He played Kaien in Battle Arena Toshinden.
Wow.
He isn't credited in English, so I got no idea who plays him in English. And Alisha sees like an explosion of magic in the distance while they're fighting him. So the fight goes on for a while. It's very well animated, but all I really want to talk about is the thingy eating Mason. Just,
yeah.
Like, they don't do anything.
Yeah, so... We presume that he's dead when they first find him and he's, like, drinking his blood. And so they fight for a little while. And, like, he gets cornered a little bit. And so to power up, he goes and consumes the man whole. And these two just kind of look on like, no, that sucks.
Yeah, it takes a while. The entire village shows up to fight the thingy and it runs away. And Sorey blames himself for bringing a human here, because he thinks that's what attracted it. But Gramps and Mikleo are like, it's not you or her fault. Just because it clearly came here because of her, and you brought her here.
Right. Later they're like, oh, it's after her specifically, but it's not your fault.
And then Gramps is like, well, we've been selfish by closing the village off to the world, and for true peace in the world, we need to open up the village. And then
we need to let more demons in to eat our people.
And he's like, this is the most fun I've had in a while, and he laughs. And then Sorey
this was
smiles.
So weird.
And I'm like,
a man just got swallowed alive.
A man that they knew by name. They knew his scream.
They have a tiny little close-knit village. I can't imagine that if that happened in real life, people wouldn't be just, like, racked with grief.
They heard a scream in the distance, and immediately they were like, that's the scream of our friend Mason. I would know that scream anywhere.
I've spent the last 17 years of my life growing close with him.
And now they're just like, that was fun.
I hope another one comes here and eats another person.
So Gramps tells Sorey to head back to the human because Hellions cause great fear to humans and she'll probably be scared. And she is. She's squeezing her hands together and just kind of fearfully shivering on the ground.
I would assume that is a position of prayer.
Yeah, it looked like she was praying, but she was shivering too.
She was also shivering.
So he comes over and tells her there's nothing to be worried about, and that, and then all the seraphim of the village create a huge light show for her.
It was a little strange.
Nobody cares that a man got ate.
Nobody cares. Maybe he was the village dickhead.
Oh, Mason, he was a sexual predator. Anyway, the next morning, Alisha is leaving, but she's kind of hesitating about it. And she finally tells Sorey her name and says that she regrets being so secretive with him, even though he was so open and friendly to her. And this is where we learn that she's a knight. And she's now convinced that the seraphim are real after spending this time here. I mean, I guess the light show was the final nail in that coffin.
I guess.
And she thinks, because now she knows the seraphim are real, that also convinces her the legend of the shepherd is real. And she thinks that the shepherd can stop what's happening.
And she secretly thinks it's him.
Yeah. He agrees with her, and then she's like, wow, I can't believe you don't laugh at me for that. And he's like, you've spent like 3 days with me. How can you possibly think I would laugh at that? I obviously believe the same shit you do.
Right.
She invites him to come with her to participate in the Sacred Sword Festival's swordship trials, because she thinks that he's the shepherd. But
like, if the shepherd's gonna be anybody, it's gonna be a weird freak like you.
But he hesitates, so she leaves and asks him to think about it. And then Mikleo hands him a dagger that he found in the ruins, because apparently he went back in looking for clues about her for Gramps.
He just doesn't sleep.
No, he's always just wandering around the village at night, every night. Maybe he just gets up really late.
Maybe.
So he hands Sorey this dagger and he says it's got the crest of the royal family. He doesn't think that she really is just a knight.
You think she is a princess?
Or a prince.
Oh.
I don't think she's a princess. So that night, Sorey's lying in bed thinking about all the things that happened. And he thinks over the stuff that Lunar said before and after he consumed his best friend, Mason. And he realizes that Lunar was there looking for Alisha.
Which I don't know how he got that from what he said, because he seemed to imply that he was happy eating this random seraph and not that he was there for this royal guard.
Well, he said something about the main course, right? He was looking for the main course.
I thought he said he didn't want to... Well, yeah, but then, like, the only thing he ate was a random guy.
Yeah, I think the implication was that the random guy was like an appetizer. Didn't he call all the people appetizers at one point? Or was that in the dub?
Yeah, but he says, I don't want to spoil the main dish, and then he disappears.
Oh, right, okay.
It was a little confusing. I was like, what, that guy? What's so special about him?
I think Mason was the appetizer.
I mean, I understand that now, but it wasn't exactly the most clear messaging.
Well, Sorey goes to look for Alisha now that he knows that human Zoroark is searching for her. It's the middle of the night, so he doesn't say goodbye to everybody, but Mikleo catches him.
Because he doesn't sleep.
Yeah, and he's also figured out the same thing. He's like, I was thinking about what that weird fox guy said, and I think he wanted to eat that human.
As he swallowed our best friend alive.
So he wants to go too. And he says that Gramps always knew Sorey would leave someday and end up going to live with the humans. And he gives him a gift from Gramps, his pipe.
Which he is to pawn.
Yeah, it tells him it's to sell if he needs money. And a message from Gramps. Be free and live the life you want to with all you have.
Cool. Thanks, Gramps.
Then Mikleo also gives him the glove that they found at the ruins. Or at least shows him that he has it.
Yeah, I don't know if he gave it to him, or
Yeah.
if he's just like, it's mine, and you have to wrestle it from me.
I love to wrestle. Would you like to oil me up? If only these clothes weren't getting in the way. They're so constricting.
Wow, they're brothers.
Oh, sorry, you're right. This isn't boys love coded.
No, this isn't Cayenne and AG, even though they were basically raised together too.
Yeah, but They weren't both orphans, I don't think. Wait, they had to... Who's the Wait, Cain was an orphan. Oh, wow.
Well, Cain was orphaned when What's-His-Face killed his dad.
That's true. Do we ever learn anything about AG's parents? I don't think they were mentioned.
No.
Your father is only worth mentioning if he was murdered by your brother's best friend or whatever. Anyway, did you see the after credits bit or did you quit?
I saw it.
Okay.
There's too much time left to be just credits.
That's what I thought too. So at the end of the credits, we see Sorey and Mikleo walking through the fog and they see the outside world for the first time. And they're shocked by how beautiful it is. That's the end. Did you like it?
That's the end. It was fine. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, it made me want to play the game. I would play the game to see what happens. Mostly because I want to see the dead walking part.
I just want to see the dead guys.
And I want to know. I want to see like what the problems were that she was talking about. And I want to know more about Fox Guy. What's his deal? Is Sorey the shepherd? What if he's not? That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. They just show up to see somebody else become shepherd and team up with him.
Don't even team up with him. Then the shepherd goes off on a journey and Sorey's like, well, guess I'll go back home.
I guess I better find my passion.
And then you just spend the rest of the game cooking and making little leather pouches for people.
Yeah.
That would be good.
That would be good. Turns out it's just a slice of life farming sim.
Yeah. But the beginning of the game is an action-packed RPG, and then like 3 hours in, it suddenly becomes like a Harvest Moon. So I watched the dub as well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really like it.
Oh.
For the most part, the dub script is not exactly wrong, but the nuance of pretty much everything is different.
Great.
And I think it makes the characters less likable. Like when they do the light show at the end, in the original, Gramps says it's for their guest. But in the English version, he's like, put on a good show, the boys earned it. And I was like, what? That's completely different.
Right.
It wasn't for him. It's not supposed to be for the boy. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend watching the Japanese subtitled version of this rather than the English one, personally.
Yeah.
I'd probably say that about pretty much everything. I don't think there's anything where I'm like, yeah, you should watch the dub instead of the original.
Yeah.
I always recommend watching the original if you can find it.
Because there are a lot of things that get lost in translation.
Yeah.
Even just between a sub and a dub.
Yeah, I think no matter what language it is, I would always rather watch something in the language it was made in.
Yeah.
To see. That's the only way you really get the original intention, I think. But, you know.
Or close enough to it.
This one, at least, it has all the original music and the sound effects and everything. So, not the worst. Not the worst a dub can be. We've seen things get really butchered, and this isn't that bad.
We sure have.
I don't think there's any legacy of this, because it's pretty much just a straight adaptation of the beginning of the game.
Oh, darn. My one job on this show.
I know. I'm sorry, I didn't even let you ask this week.
No, you didn't.
Do you want to redo
no,
it?
No, I
don't! Alright, well that's it. I got nothing else to say.
We beat the game.
We beat the game. We know all about the Tales of Zestria. I'm looking forward to going and looking at Tales of Fantasia later this year.
Is that having an anniversary?
Yep. That's the original Tales game, so that's having its 30th.
Oh, wow.
In December. So
too many Tales.
Yeah. I don't even know how many there are now. They were up to number 15 10 years ago.
You guys need to slow down. How are we supposed to catch up?
I don't think we're ever going to catch up.
In the time it takes to beat one, 5 more have come out.
Yeah, I think we'll just have to play Tales of Symphonia and call it a day. It's a good game. Tales of Symphonia.
From what you recall.
From what I recall. The part of the story I got to was really cool.
I never beat it.
That one was about, like, faith. And I remember, like, a villain was the Pope.
Cool.
It was interesting. I liked it. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah.
If you'd like to support our show, you can head to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub and sign up for giving us money. Or you can sign up as a free member. We don't do things for free members very often, but we do occasionally.
That's a real hard sell.
Hey, the hard sell is pay us money to get the good stuff. To get outtakes from the show and stuff.
The stuff that was too bad to listen to for free.
No, it's just too unrelated. It's too irrelevant.
That's our show. You cut out the show part of the show.
You could join our club VIPs, Jamie Core and Mark Kelly. Or, if you wanted to get real crazy with it, you could join our club Mesmeron, Marley the Changeling.
Oh.
And then you get to request things for us to watch, and we'll actually do it.
Make demands of us. We'll dance.
Well, I don't know about that.
I meant like a metaphorical dance.
Okay. I'm not doing a real dance.
What if I gave you 3 thin dimes?
For 3 thin dimes, I might do the Charleston. So,
well, then get ready.
Be warned.
Because I got it.
Are they thin enough?
They better be.
I don't know how thin a dime is.
Pretty thin.
Yeah?
It's our smallest coin.
Yeah, but thinnest too?
I believe so.
Damn. I'm gonna have to come over there and you're gonna have to show me all the money and then I'll immediately come home.
This is a nickel. Now get on the plane.
Bye! I'm sorry about this. I mean,
frustrating.
I know it's not my fault, but I'm still sorry.
Probably is your fault.
Oh, yeah? Why don't you say that to my face?
You put a curse on my computer.
I didn't curse the computer. Just you.